This has been on my heart lately, and I need to let it out. I've been operating inauthentically for what feels like way too long. Meaning, I haven't been my authentic self. I haven't been operating as my authentic self. I've been trying to be someone I'm not. I'm not letting my authentic self shine. And I have in the past. It's the reason I am where I am today is because of my authentic self. That version of me that just shines, that version of me that's magnetic to the right people. And if I'm being honest, I've been caught up in trying to be someone I'm not. I've been holding myself back. This is the most important piece. I've been holding my authentic self back in fear of not being liked. By having a certain group of people like me and a certain group of people not like me. And the certain group of people that would like me, I'm like, but I don't care. Or that's the conversation in my head. But I do care. I do care. But there's been this fucking implant in my head that I've allowed in my head that says you need to play the cool game. You need to play the status game. You need to look at what the fucking cool kids are doing. And you need to try to follow them. And I think I've discovered another piece inside of me that has been a blind spot for quite a fucking while, man. And I'm just starting to discover this. You know, I did some inner child work last year at a retreat because I knew I had some wounds, some emotional wounds tied up with my dad that I hadn't been able to break through. And that was great. And I'm not fully sure if that's healed or whatnot, but this was a blind spot at that time. And it literally just until now have I recognized that there's this other potential that exists within me that has been holding me back from fucking saying how it is, from acting how I want to act. By allowing my authentic self to show up, which I believe is the most powerful version of me. The version of me where my superpowers exist. So, I don't quite know where this starts and ends, but I do know that it has something to do with wanting to be liked, stemming back to high school to some degree, stemming back from my childhood and the people that are around me and who I wanted to be involved with, looking at the cool kids. And the funny thing was, I was in the cool kid crowd, quote unquote. So I don't fully understand it yet, but there's something there. And it has caused me to hold the best fucking part of me back and try to slowly manipulate my business, my brand, my voice into something I'm not, someone I'm not. I'm just making this video to get it off my heart and just to fucking post this on YouTube to acknowledge that exists and that I'm devoted to honoring my best self, my most authentic self in all forms. And that will reflect in how I show up in business, that will reflect in my business, how Actualize is created, that will reflect in how I show up in my relationships. But I've held so much back because I have so much to share. And there's these pockets of time where I go on these rants and I share, and it feels so good. It feels so aligned. It feels like my authentic self is serving the world. And then I think too much, and I look what others are doing, and I'm like, man, maybe you shouldn't post that. Maybe that's not your message. Oh, that's not cool. Oh, so you're not doing it like so and so. They're doing it so much cooler than you. It's like, bro, who fucking cares, man? Because that's not your game to play. And until you fucking accept that, you're gonna be restricted. You're gonna be choked out. You're gonna have what am I trying to say? Your oxygen is gonna be at 80%, 70%. It's like, bro, allow that authentic version of you to shine and don't give a fuck about what others are thinking. And that's fucking direct back to me, not to anyone else here. So, done trying to play someone else's game, and those patterns still exist, and I'm recognizing I need to do some level of inner work, because that's clearly something that I've fallen victim to, if you will. So if this message lands with you, I think my ask would be work on releasing the perceived judgment that others have on you, because they don't give a fuck, bro. They don't give a fuck. And if they do give a fuck, it's because you're doing something that they wish they would do, because they're held back. And the second piece, and I made this in my last video, is that you are most powerful when you are in your authentic self. You are most powerful when you're operating in your authentic self. Anything but that, you're throttling what's possible for you. You're throttling what is possible for you to impact the world with. And potentially some of the reasons as to why you don't feel like you can show up as your authentic self is because of some childhood void, unmet emotional needs that occurred when you were younger that has been unresolved. It's crazy how much that impacts it. Carl Jung would call it the shadow. It is the stuff you cannot see. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control your life and you will call it fate. So, that's it. I'm gonna keep thinking on this, because this is I think a huge discovery. Where else this has shown up in my life? I already have a number of stories that or behavior that a number of situations where my behavior was influenced by wanting to look cool, wanting to look a certain way, and not operating within my authentic self. Simple as that. And the crazy part is that I've done so much work to express myself, yet there's just fucking layers to this stuff, man. That's why the game of self-mastery never ends. Because there's layers. I believe I've done so much in this world, and I've achieved a good amount for my age and all the other stuff. But there's still so much. There's still so much. And it's typically the 10%, the 20%, that's where it's exponential. And that's what I feel right now, as I need to unlock that last 20%. So here's to my authentic self and expressing what is pure to me, not holding it back, not caring what others think, and just releasing.